You ever stop and think about the story on your plate? I mean, really think about it? Beyond just, what it costs or the calories, every single ingredient has a journey. Well, today we're going to dive into a pretty incredible story. One about tradition, about biodiversity, and about a real fight for survival happening right in the heart of Brazil.
Okay, so here's how we're going to break it all down. We're going to start with this big global idea that kind of challenges everything we think we know about food. Then we'll zoom right into a specific battleground in South America. We'll meet the amazing people on the front lines, see their super creative solutions, and then, and this is the important part, we'll see how you, yes, you, fit into all of this.
All right, first up, let's get our heads around the big idea that's driving this whole story. It's a philosophy, really, that was born as a reaction to our modern, super fast, kind of disconnected relationship with what we eat.
So on one side, you have fast food. You know the deal. It's all about speed, making everything the same, and doing it on a massive industrial scale. But back in the 1980s, a movement popped up in Italy to push back against all that. They called themselves, you guessed it, slow food. Their whole philosophy was built on celebrating local traditions, protecting biodiversity, and just appreciating the simple pleasure of real food. Now, the movement is really built on these three simple but actually really powerful principles. Food should be good, clean, and fair. So what does that mean? Good is easy. It has to be delicious and well-made. Clean means it's produced in a way that doesn't harm the environment. And fair, this is crucial, means the people who make it get paid a fair wage. It's a vision for a food system that respects everybody and everything involved.
Okay, so that's the philosophy, but how does it actually play out in the real world? Well, to see that, let's head to a place where this fight is happening right now. Brazil's Cerrado. Now, when you think of Brazil's wild places, your mind probably jumps straight to the Amazon rainforest, right? But there's this other massive, and I mean massive ecosystem that often gets overlooked. It's called the Cerrado. And to give you a sense of its scale, just imagine putting England, France, Spain, Germany, and Italy all together. Yeah, it's that big. And it is not just some empty expanse of land. It is absolutely bursting with life. The Cerrado is home to literally thousands of plant species you can't find anywhere else on Earth. It's also the birthplace for three of South America's biggest river systems, which makes it incredibly important for water, not just for Brazil, but for the whole continent. But here's the thing. This paradise, it's vanishing. After decades of deforestation, mostly for things like industrial soy farms and cattle ranching, this is what's left. Just 20%. 20% of the original Cerrado is still standing. And you have to understand this isn't just an environmental problem, it's a human one. The folks at Slow Food Brazil put it perfectly. Nature cries out, we are at risk of extinction. For the communities who have lived there for generations, losing the Cerrado means losing, well, everything. Their food, their culture, their entire way of life. So to fight this incredible loss, Slow Food came up with a really brilliant idea. It's called the Ark de Gusto, which translates to the Ark of Taste. Think of it like a global catalog of endangered foods, unique ingredients, recipes, and traditions that are right on the brink of just blinking out of existence. It's a living library of our planet's food heritage. And the Cerrado? Oh, it has so many treasures on that list. We're talking about a whole universe of flavors you probably never even heard of. The nutty pequi, the tiny little cajui fruit, the sweet and sour cagaita. See, this isn't just a list of plants. This is the actual taste of an entire biome, and it is fading away. But this is not just a story of loss. It's also a story of incredible resistance. So let's meet the people who are actually on the ground doing the work. The activists, the chefs, the farmers, the real guardians of the Cerrado. People like Gene Marconi from the local Slow Food chapter. He says their mission is to connect and value the biome's producers. What that really means is they're building a lifeline. They're creating a network that connects the person growing the food to the person eating it, which in turn helps support the entire ecosystem. And this is where it gets really personal. Take a woman named Dona Ana. She's lived on her land for over a decade, surrounded by all these native fruit trees.
But it was only recently, as she puts it, that she found out she could actually sell the fruit. By linking up with the Slow Food Network, she and her husband suddenly had a market for their cajui. They're literally turning conservation into a way to make a living. So how exactly are these guardians making a difference? Well, this is the really cool part. They're doing it with these incredibly creative, fun, and honestly delicious ideas that connect ancient traditions with the modern world. Okay, so to get one of their best ideas, you need to know this Brazilian word, xepa. It's pronounced Xepa. It basically refers to all the produce at a farmer's market at the end of the day. You know, the stuff that's a little bruised or misshapen, but it's still perfectly good to eat. The stuff that usually gets thrown out. And this local issue of Xepa is really just a tiny snapshot of a massive global crisis. I mean, worldwide, we waste a mind-boggling 1.3 billion tons of food every year. So the fight against waste in a place like the Cerrado is really a front line in this much, much bigger battle. So what's their solution? Something called Disco Xepa. And yeah, it's pretty much a party with a purpose. Volunteers go around and collect all that unwanted produce. Then local chefs come in and just improvise, creating these amazing meals on the spot. And then they serve it all to the public for free with music and dancing. It turns a boring lecture about waste into this joyful community celebration. It's genius. And what's really cool is that it's not just a grassroots thing. You've got high-end chefs like Ajnor Maya, who runs a famous restaurant, and he's a huge supporter. He makes the point that this idea of not being wasteful, it's universal. It connects the fanciest kitchens right back to your kitchen at home. The movement also gets these ingredients into fancy restaurants. They have events like Cerrado Week, where dozens of restaurants are challenged to create dishes using these native fruits. It introduces a whole new audience to these amazing flavors and creates a real paying market for the producer. Look, I get it. This might all seem like it's happening a world away. But the philosophy behind this whole fight for the Cerrado, it actually connects directly to the choices that you and I make every single day.
Okay, this is probably my favorite idea from the whole movement. They don't see you as just a consumer. They use the term co-producer. And that small shift in language, it changes everything. You're not just the person at the end of the line passively buying something. You're an active, interested, and absolutely essential partner in the whole system. And here's the best part. Becoming a co-producer doesn't mean you have to overhaul your entire life. It starts with small things. It really just starts with being curious. Next time you're at a farmer's market, just ask what's in season. Try that weird-looking vegetable you've never seen before. Ask about the farm it came from. When you do that, you're sending a powerful message that you value the person, the place, and the story behind your food. Ultimately, the fate of places like the Cerrado and all the traditions and flavors they hold isn't just in the hands of activists or chefs in Brazil. Their future is on the menu. It's shaped by the thousands of little choices we all make every time we eat. So the real question is, what are we going to choose?